Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Shoe Allegra podcast. Today, I have my very good friend Christina here, and I'll let Christina introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I am Christina Abernethy with Love, Hope, and Autism, and also with Changing Spaces, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. And you live in Pittsburgh area, right?
I do. Yep. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am married to my hubby, Jesse, and we have 3 kids, Selena, Ethan, and Braden.
Awesome. So is it snowing in Pittsburgh? It's snowing here in Dover.
Barely. I mean, just barely flurrying, but there's a lot of warnings for bad weather today.
Yeah, like we got warnings too, and it started as flurries, but then I'm looking on the road is already like paved in white. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think we're going anywhere today. It's a good day to hibernate.
Yes.
So you do a lot of things, the changing spaces and love, hope, and autism and being a mom. Um, I think I want to touch on the changing spaces first, and then we'll move into the other stuff. So
Sure.
what is changing spaces?
Sure. So Changing Spaces is a nationwide campaign where parents and caregivers and actually self-advocates all come together and work together to advocate for powered, height-adjustable, adult-sized changing tables. We're also using the language like universally designed changing tables because these changing tables really are designed for all people. I mean, most adult-sized people. So whether you're an infant, a toddler, teenage, years, all the way up into elderly, these tables are accommodating for everyone and accessible for everyone. So that's why it's very important to us that we're all advocating for the same thing. We asked that they were powered and height adjustable. So if you're caring for someone that utilizes a wheelchair, the table actually goes down to about 18 inches off the floor. So it lowers down to the height of the chair so the caregiver can actually transfer the individual onto the table safely. And then what's really nice, there's safety rails on each side, and there's also a safety strap that goes across. You can raise the table up with the individual on it, and then the caregiver is also not injuring their back as they're helping them. So you help them, you do what you need to do, and you can lower the table back down and transfer them safely back into their chair. So that's why for us, it's so extremely important to advocate for powered height adjustable tables and not just a fixed height bench or just adult size, because when you're talking about lifting someone, especially from a wheelchair up onto a table, you have the very big liability risks and risks of injury when you do that. So we're really for us, it's safety first. And how could we be accessible and accommodating and safe, for everyone. So that's the main purpose behind Changing Spaces. I believe there are 22 states that have a Changing Spaces campaign that somebody's running a chapter in the states. And many of us are also working with legislation to get a bill passed in our state. So I'm currently, I run the Pennsylvania chapter, and I'm currently working with state legislators to get a bill passed in Pennsylvania. So these types of tables would be required in certain places like hospitals, sports arenas, larger venues, let's see, like where you would have a concert. Yeah. So lots of different places, movie theaters and malls and things like that. We want to be able to go out into the community, enjoy the community, but also to have a space that is safe and accessible and private, and a place for, human dignity to stay intact, because right now we're still, laying our son on public bathroom floors on a beach towel, or changing him in the back of the car. And nobody should ever have to be laid on a public restroom floor. And, we get a lot of comments regarding that. And I mean, as moms, I think we can be honest in the fact that not all changes can happen standing up. So even though our son is able to stand, let's just be honest, that's not always the case, right? And you're causing a larger mess. So it is extremely important for us, that this isn't just going to help our family, this is going to help thousands of families across our state and ultimately across our nation. So that's why I got involved with Changing Spaces, because I shared our story, and the other moms and self-advocates and caregivers reaching out to me. It was just, oh my gosh, how do we work together to really move the momentum and get these out there as much as we can.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think just know, and I know, I've known you for, it's been what, couple years now, I believe.
I think
And just from what you're doing, it hits home for me, because I think it's, you said, it's not just people in wheelchair. It's, we have loved ones, if a self-advocate who needs that kind of space. and
mhm.
and it's good for now, and the person getting the support, but also the person supporting. As a
Correct.
caregiver, we don't want to be breaking our backs because we're just trying to get a loved one changed, right? And then,
Correct.
but yeah, if we're out of commission, there's nobody else to take care of them.
Right.
And then there's a lot of work. I do a lot of work, and a lot of people do a lot of work around inclusion, but this is one piece of inclusion that nobody talks about.
Right.
I cannot go to the movie theater. I can't go to the baseball game if I have to sit there, and I can't sit for the whole movie or the whole game, because there's no bathroom for me. I
Right.
mean, just think about it. Like, for those of us who do not need that kind of support, when
Mhm.
you go out in the community, I just want people to be mindful. How many times do you go out to the bathroom? When you're at the mall, when you're at the doctor's office, when you're at the movie theater, at a game,
Mhm.
at the
Mhm.
airport. Now think
Mhm.
about how many times people are not able to do that, and they have to
Mhm.
leave those places because there's nothing for them. There's nowhere for them to go. Or if they're stuck there, if you have to go see the doctor, you have no choice. You need the
Right.
medical care. Then you're
Right.
using the floor at the hospital, at the doctor's, or even in the hospital, because they have
Mhm.
baby changing table. Well, there's a lot of people who are no longer babies who still need that support.
Right.
So it's like we exclude a whole population without thinking about it. So we can have
Exactly.
inclusion, stickers on our walls at all these places, but if we're not making our environment inclusive, then all those papers on the wall don't mean anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree 100%. And I think it's important because, a lot of people will tag me in things like, oh, we're finally getting baby changing tables in men's restrooms. And here's the thing. I think that that's great, right? Like my husband would have loved to have been able to change, help change our boys when they were smaller and things. But so I do believe that there should be a baby changing table in the women's restroom and a baby changing table in the men's restroom. What we're specifically asking for is family style restrooms where it's one person restroom that's large enough to include a powered height adjustable adult size changing table, because then what happens is you don't need the baby changing table.
Exactly.
It's universally designed for everyone. So if you're bringing your baby in there and the mom's looking around like, oh boy, or the dad, you can still change your baby on there. You can change your larger toddler on there. Or maybe you're caring for your mom who has dementia or your dad who suffered a stroke. There are so many different reasons why somebody would utilize a table like this in a wide variety of abilities, ages, everything. And I just think it's important for us to realize, for me advocating and things, this is not autism specific. Ethan does have other medical issues that require help in the restroom and assistance, but this is such a wide range, of disabilities and injury. Our disabled veterans, like you just never know why someone would need this. And honestly, I could be in a car accident tomorrow and need it for the rest of my life. You just never ever know. And so I just think it's important for us to keep talking about it and spreading awareness, because honestly, unless you live it or you know someone who does, it's not going to cross your mind. When my daughter was small, I would have never thought, she's 17 now, I would have never thought about this. And it wasn't until we were living it every day, and the bigger he got and the older he's getting, I just kept saying to my husband, like, we aren't the only people doing this. We can't be the only people trying to hide in a parking lot, trying to give our son some privacy when we're doing this with him. And I just think, when he's 15, like there's no way there's hiding in a parking lot. So, we're going to have to leave and go home. So that's why I started sharing our story, because I thought there's probably a whole, large community out there that I don't even know about that I'm trying to reach. And that's what happened, is that this commonality brought me together with people from all over our country advocating for these. So I just think it's important. For me, the first step is bringing awareness and just sharing our story and talking about how many families this truly does impact, and then why it's important that we start including these. And when we're talking about new construction or even to retrofit in a already existing family restroom. I actually go in and like meet with people. I take a look around their facility. I see if they have a family restroom, is it large enough to fit a table? Because sometimes family restrooms are large and you can retrofit a table. So if you have a 7-foot long wall with a tiny little baby changing table on it, they can hold someone up to 35 pounds. If we take that table out and replace it with these powered height adjustable tables, you're changing the world.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And you're right. Like unless you live it, you don't think about it. I think with my own life, part of my story, like I had a stroke at 33. Would have thought that, I needed help. And yes, I came a long way, but there's still times my bladder can't hold me. And I even had surgery for that. So I think people think that people don't realize, right? And I think about it, even the quality of life.
Right.
So if people are not able to go in the community and enjoy the things they want to enjoy, they're stuck at home. And mainly because there's no accessible bathroom for them. Like we think accessible just so I can put my wheelchair in it. Well, even if I get my wheelchair, and even physically I don't need a wheelchair, I have a walker. If I can get into a bathroom with just my walker, but someone needs to assist me and there's no space for enough for the two of us in there, that's still not accessible to me, right?
Right.
If I get there, someone can put me on the table. If I need that kind of support, that's still not accessible. So if people are, stuck at home because of these structural issues, we are not helping them live a fulfilling life. And it's not about taking away their challenge. It's about making life as comfortable as possible for them. And I think about all the things that I enjoy doing, like going to the park with my kids. We love going to different museums. So if I'm no longer able to go to those places, I will be depressed and miserable at home. And then my kids won't get to enjoy those things with me. So it impacts my whole family.
Right.
And if I'm not what, I probably won't do half of the stuff that I'm doing, right? If I'm feeling depressed, I won't feel like recording podcasts or coaching people or speaking at a conference. So one life, once it's impacted, once supported, impacts, so many other lives, like just that ripple effect.
Absolutely.
And I think this changing table, it's one of those things that people don't think about, how just having the table there, the right support for people to access bathroom will make a big difference in their lives, their family's life, and all the work that people are doing in the community as well. So thank you so much for doing that. And we will share a link, in the description where people can follow you and support your initiative. When you have, I know, you've done this with me when there's, you're going to meet with legislators, if something that we can sign a petition or something like that, please, make sure that, for people listening, that you connect with her, that you're following her, so you don't miss those opportunities to support this very, very important cause.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a Changing Spaces campaign, national group on Facebook, and there's a website as well. And then there's Changing Spaces Pennsylvania. And what I love about it is there's a couple hundred people in this group, a few hundred people in this group, and it's everyone who's just, learning and experience and sharing their stories. And I like working together with other people. And, our local YMCA just got a changing table installed. And that came from Courtney that we were in class with. And she said, hey, how about the Y? I take, some of my clients there. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to start doing water safety and swim lessons with Ethan there. And so I said, if you could get me a contact number. She got me her number. I met with her a couple times and boom, now there's a table. Like, working together and just discussing this and having like open dialogue about it. That's what I love about this is not a one-man show. This is not just helping my family. This is helping thousands and thousands of families to get out of their homes, to be able to go out in the community, spend time as a family. And that's what I love to see, is that people don't feel secluded and that they have to stay home. I want them to feel included and that there's an accessible and safe private place for them to be helped out in public when they need it.
Awesome. Yeah. Again, thank you so much for what you're doing with that.
Thank you.
Then the next thing I want to touch base with you is Love, Hope, and Autism. So tell us about that.
Sure. So Love, Hope, and Autism is my Facebook page. I also created a blog. And I am on Instagram too, so a couple different things. I created it originally. I started noticing that writing really helped me through times like when I was struggling and things like that. I used to write years ago when I was in high school, and it got me through some really hard times. And so I wanted a place to, you know, one, it was kind of therapeutic for me to write and share a story, but I wanted to connect with others. I have this passion in me to just, I love giving, I love helping other people, and I wanted to be able to connect with other families and let them know that you're not alone, right? And just a space for them to, especially if you're local in the Pennsylvania area, and things like different resources that are in our area, sensory friendly events, or, you know, to talk about the Changing Table mission and things like that. I just wanted to create this space, this community for people to go to and feel like, you know, that we could talk to each other, that there's this commonality. And even though autism, you know, affects everyone differently and impacts families differently, you know, we still can talk to each other with open hearts and minds, and know that we can all come together without judgment and just kind of have this safe space to connect. And that's kind of what came from Love, Hope, and Autism. And I love the word hope. Like, that hope gets me through most things in my life. And I want to inspire hope in others and let them know that, yes, you're not alone, but also, like, even on our bad days, I still try to at night go to bed thinking, what was the one good thing I got out of today? Maybe it was a learning experience. You know, I mean, you all have those days where, oh, I'm just so glad it's over. But to just allow people to know that, you know, we are human, we all have bad days, that this journey is not easy by any means. But I feel like if we talk to each other and connect with each other, you know, I'm learning so much from other people as well. You know, like, I just feel like our kids are always learning, but so am I. So I love connecting with other people and just learning from each other and helping each other. So that was the whole point behind Love, Hope, and Autism. And I want to continue growing that and growing the community, and just continue to write, because, like I said, a part of it's therapeutic for me, but also to allow people, like, to see more of my vulnerable side, and that, you know, this is me, you know, this is why I'm here. I want other people to not feel lonely, and to just stay hopeful, because even on our bad days, like, the sun still comes up tomorrow morning, and we have another day to try again. And things can get better, you know, and to never give up, you know.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. And speaking of kids, my boys are here in the house, so every time they move to a different room, like, they get louder and louder. It's like,
I can't hear them at all.
oh, well, good, because I'm like, they're so loud. But again, I'm very sensitive to noise. But anyway, so yeah, life keep happening, even on days on days they're not going perfectly. And with writing, you're so right. Writing is so therapeutic, and I've been so honored, you know, to be writing with you. So the one book. So initially, just for people listening and watching, we met through an advocacy training that was run by Temple University's Institute on Disability. And then from there, we then did a book together, you know, on autism, You're Not Alone. So there are over moms who wrote the stories and sharing how, you know, just again, giving that hope to others. And that was published in December of 2019. And then right now, we're also writing again together for my series, Made for More. We're doing the chronic illness edition together. So it's an honor to, you know, to have been doing all of these things with you, but also, you know, finding hope and reading hope, you know, through your stories, through your chapters. So thank you for writing, and keep writing. And one last thing that we started doing together, you became a guest blogger on my website. So every month, you know, there's an article from her, and the one that she just said is What If. We actually, it's coming, I think, in a couple of days here. So we will also post the link to that, to the blog, so people can, you know, read that as well. So again, thank you so much for all that you do, and sharing hope and spreading hope all across, you know, honestly, it's not just, you know, PA or the US, you know, I pretty think it's a global effort and impact. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything else that you want to leave our listeners with? Any last word of wisdom, you know, or encouragement?
No, I think as far as the Love, Hope, and Autism page, I appreciate every single person that's there and following our journey. You know, it is in honor of our son, Ethan, also nicknamed Bubba. So I think everybody knows Bubba. He brings us so much joy, and I want to share that with the world. You know, the world needs to know Ethan. Everybody needs to know Bubba, and I just want to share that with people, because even on the hard days, like I just remember, like he keeps fighting every single day, and he tries every single day, and that, you know, his persistence to never give up, and he just keeps going, and that's what keeps me going, is that, you know, this little boy never ever gives up. And what I've learned so much for him is to like find the joy in the smallest little of things, you know, even just, you know, quiet in a tree outside, and, you know, he's over there hugging the tree, or, you know, like he's just so pure, you
Yes,
know.
yes,
And I just feel like he's really taught our family to just slow down and, you know, just look at life a little bit differently. And I thank him for that, because he's changed our family in such a positive way
yes,
and made us
yes,
stronger. And I just want to share that with people, because it's pretty amazing.
yeah,
It's pretty amazing. He's amazing. So why not share that with people? Because, you know, he impacts our life so much, and in a positive way. You know,
yes,
he's always teaching us. So
yes, yes.
yeah,
And
and thank you for everything that you do. I love reading your writing, and your podcasts are amazing. And I loved having class with you and just connecting with you. And yes, the You Are Not Alone book, and now this other book. You know, I was nervous to share for the other book, for the chronic illness. You know, there's so many people that don't realize, you know, the health struggles that I have gone through too.
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
I appreciate everything you're doing to spread love and awareness and hope in other people as well. And just, you know, that no matter what our circumstances are, you know, we just keep going, and that we are made for more. So I appreciate
Yeah.
everything you're doing too.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. And you say, hi and hugs and kisses to your family. Tell Bubba I love these messages. Recently he was telling me, "You should have a good day, Shu," and that totally made my day. I can say he's just so pure, such, such a great, great young man. No, I know he's still little, but he's growing up to
Yeah,
be such a great young man. And then thank you
thank
for all you
you.
do. I mean, he's amazing because you're amazing. Your whole family,
Oh,
just how you support one
thank
another.
you.
So thank you
Thank
for
you.
being that family that keep going.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. You take care. For everyone, you'll read the description of the show and click on those links. There's so much more for you to connect with what Christina is doing. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.